What do we do when we are dealing with a mental illness that was intentionally programmed by activist organizations to put people into a state of paranoid delusion that there are Nazis around every corner? There's no medication that will change that because this is a programming issue.
I mean, this breaks my heart because, I mean, the solution really was to have Charlie Kirk, because he was going out there to these universities and he was putting in FaceTime, having people like listen to him about these issues, having difficult questions, difficult conversations. And I mean, and that's what we really need more of. We need to humanize the other side. And I love social media for that, although, you know, I get censored, and I know a lot of people do get censored for having these things. But I think the more we can break away from ABC News and like CNN and these places that have just a very, to me now, it's a very obvious narrative to serve their base rather than trying to be helpful and actually see things in a logical, rational way. The more exposure that we can have and get these ideas out there, I think that will de-radicalize people. I think they will wake up to it slowly, and I think it is happening.
I do think so. I'm. It's tough. I want to be optimistic. Following this brutal assassination of a political leader and friend, I was hoping that your more moderate or default liberals, who do believe things that are not true because of, as I described, would be shocked to see such a graphic and horrific incident. They weren't.
They weren't shocked at all.
I have friends, people that I've known for years, that work in Hollywood, that are prominent liberals, they're activists, but I always consider them to kind of be normie default libs that they post your generic talking point. And I genuinely believed yesterday that many of those people were going to be like, this is not okay, stop. And today I woke up and looked at Instagram stories from people that don't spend time in politics. They only just, they post a black square profile picture for George Floyd. They'll repost some activist talking point. And I'm seeing several videos being shared by many of these individuals who are well known, justifying the death, saying things like, Charlie got the world that he wanted, so be it. Saying things that Charlie Kirk wanted to kill you, so they killed him. Saying things like, this is a man who genuinely hated black people and wanted them dead. All fake, all lies. And these were supposed to be sane, rational people that I knew, that I could still talk to. And I don't know how we move forward right now. There are posts on X with 20 million views of people saying, who's next? He deserved it.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying about what happens when you are raised in a culture that tells you there are invisible cameras circling your body and you have the delusion. What happens when you're raised with delusion? And you also mentioned that these are not people who are particularly involved in politics. So what happens is they hear from trusted sources like ABC or MSNBC or the others that Charlie Kirk is a fascist, that this very Christian man who espoused peace is hateful and evil, right?
Or he's responsible for school shootings.
Or he's responsible for all of these things.
Pro-Second Amendment, and
this man,
this guy was political. He dressed up as Trump for Halloween.
No, not this guy. I mean, like in general, the people who are on social media saying this stuff, they're not steeped in politics, but they believe everything that they've heard that's negative about Charlie, and they've never looked into it themselves. Look at stupid Stephen King, right? He espoused this whole thing of like Charlie wanted to stone gay people or whatever, and then everyone was like, you are wrong. Look at the clip. Look at the clip.
He's got a viral post saying...
And he had to apologize. He apologized, but like that's not going viral.
He actually said that he couldn't stand the people that were trying to gatekeep the movement and keep gay people from the conservative movement.
Exactly.
Charlie did everything he could to lift up black conservatives and black people on the left, too, for that matter. So anybody that says that he was racist is just ignorant.
But he also had ideas that maybe were horrific or you disagreed with. He would debate you on them and change his mind if you offered a position. That was the thing. So I don't care. You give me a list of all the bad things he said, debate him on it. That was the point.
There's no reason whatsoever for this to happen to Charlie Kirk. Like, there's a million other people this could have happened to, and it would not have this effect. So this happening to Charlie Kirk is why this is so impactful.
This is what's scary, is that those of us who knew Charlie, and I don't just mean personally, I mean those who knew who he really was, knew that he was a really nice guy. He was not somebody who went on TV and was angry. There are a lot of people in the space, especially on the right, who are angry and are yelling and saying, you know what, these people, I'll tell you. That wasn't Charlie. And that's one of the reasons I think it was so impactful and horrifying is that Charlie was always really calm and nice. And at the bare minimum, the worst emotion you got from him when you debated him was him scoffing or laughing and saying, what? No, here's my idea. But he never yelled at you. He never insulted you. He would, I've seen so many of his videos. He would the closest he ever got is when he would give back what he was given. Mm-hmm. To the point that I was making about these people and their views, mentioning that they're raised in this society. They go online and they're surrounded by people saying, these people are fascists. Punch Nazis. Nazis are bad. The way I've explained it before is we all know that feeling because there are certain things you cannot do in public. There are certain things that if you do, you will be shunned or harassed or isolated and there are things you would react to. For instance, most people on the left and the right, if they witnessed a man yelling racial slurs at another man, would be mad about it and would say, hey, you can't do that. That's not okay. That is the overwhelming majority of this country. Racists exist. So we know that feeling of if you were sitting down at a restaurant and you saw a guy get up and start screaming at a black man and insulting him, was minding his own business or his family and calling him names, you would react viscerally. You work at the shop would say, get out of here. Don't you do that. So we understand that feeling. The problem is there is a generation and the liberal political faction that have been raised to believe that racist guy screaming racial slurs was you, me, was Charlie. So when someone comes out and tells them, imagine if someone said, that guy who was threatening to murder that black woman, calling her racial slurs and was taunting her and poured a milkshake on her head, walked outside and got hit by a car. People are going to be like,
yeah,
wow. And you're not really going to feel that bad. That's where liberals are right now. That's because of the lies, the intentional lies from ABC News, from CNN, from MSNBC. Remember MSNBC said when Charlie got shot, perhaps someone was firing celebratory gunfire?
They also said he was divisive.
And he said awful things, so he gets awful actions.
Right.
That's the world they're living in. And so, again, I'm kind of ranting because obviously it's so personal.
It also,
my point, sorry, just to finalize it. These are people who imagine they're on a boat. And all around them, that's the only thing they're told and they can see. They can't get to the ship or the landmass that we're on where we're welcoming of everybody. And what terrifies me the most about it is layered in this psychology that has been developed by these media organizations is if you talk to Charlie and he says something different from what we told you, it is because he is lying to trick you so that you abandon your values. And then every interaction these liberals have with any of us, there is a veil of, I know that if you agree with me, it's you lying to trick me, so I won't believe anything you say no matter what you say.
This is making me think of the role of, to get back to what you were talking about earlier, Libby, and I think actually I saw a great clip of you talking about this from recently. I think at the heart of this phenomenon that we're talking about, and I think it's across the culture and not even necessarily just political in nature, is the privileging of your emotions, especially your outrage and your anger, and basically letting your anger shape your perceptions of reality and define what you think of as true. And I think a lot of that, what is a part of the root of that, I think, is this ubiquity of therapeutic culture.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.